So, do you think that mass pulls matter from stars?
Mass pulls matter from stars?
Yes, mass pulls matter from stars.
Yeah, I think.
And the more mass there is, the more pulling of the light.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Just asking these questions. Because you know, if you've got does it work if I colour it in? This one doesn't appear very blue, does it?
No, it's quite pale, isn't it? Yeah, like that I see it. I see blue blob.
Should probably try going slower. Makes no difference.
Or go like 3 times around or something.
So do you think that a certain mass pulls starlight more so from it if it's a heavier object? Do you think all of the planets are pulling starlight?
So do some of them pull it more because they are bigger and heavy?
No, I don't know. I think it's interesting when you get an alignment. Doesn't this pull? Does this increase the heliopause?
Probably.
The only reason why I ask this question is because it makes sense for explosions. When stars explode,
Yeah.
will this pull the shrapnel towards the objects? The bigger it is, the more ingredients it's going to get. Because obviously we're not in a complete liner. Maybe we are?
It's more.
Is it going to be more so it's going to be attracted this matter towards Jupiter, which then can create a star going forwards? Few of them are going to get shattered in the process, which Mercury could be pushed out and fracture in that and make a moon. Can also, depending on which way it goes. But do you think it's more likely that the mass is going to target the denser objects?
Yeah.
Notice this behavior with meteorites. They are pulled towards the planets. And it changes their trajectory each time they come round. So, thinking about that, is light being pulled in? Do you think we'd see more if we were able to land on Jupiter and be at Jupiter's? Let's say Jupiter didn't have, I don't know, which one has got a decent atmosphere? The bigger the object, do you see more starlight? Does it reveal more stars?
I never thought about it. I have
Because
no
it's
idea.
bigger. Does this alter how we see things?
I'm not sure.
No, I was only
What do you
asking
think? Yeah, or do
Yeah. You know, we know what solar panels do on the planet at ground level, yes? What happens if you made a tower of solar panels?
Yeah, that would be different level, eh?
Yeah, so if it's higher, is it going to get more light?
More light, but not that sort of. It's spread in atmosphere, isn't
Yeah,
it?
because it scatters, yeah.
Scattered, yeah, scattered. I was looking for the word. Yeah.
And if you stand on a bigger object, does it pull more things in? So to truly observe how many stars are in the galaxy would be to be at the black hole. Not even light can escape it. So what happens if you take the instruments that we're seeing now and we look around the Earth and it's like, yeah, lovely, but is that backed up on Earth? So you see, this is why I wonder when making like holograms and different things like that, and if you make satellites that orbit Jupiter, will them being there with the telescope, does this changes the perception of what tools are used? So if Hubble was orbiting Jupiter instead of Earth, would it be able to grab more light based on the mass that it's behind? Because Jupiter is a bigger object. Then if you took a telescope from the sun and put it near the sun and faced away from the sun, would this pull in more? Because it is denser. And is light attracted to these dense objects? Often wonder that. Kind of ask that. Or is it all evenly going the exact same way?
I don't think it's even.
The only thing that makes it appear to be even is because what? We've got a planet here, a planet here, a planet over here in its orbit. Yeah, an interesting thing to think about. But still, just something that I like to mess about with. But if you were at a black hole, well, it changes your perspective, doesn't it? So look, we're looking for an atmosphere.
Yeah.
We're on a planet. It's also moving. Therefore, that creates distortion. We're not seeing things clearly.
Yeah.
But yet then when we go to space, or you look past the atmosphere, how inky black that is.
Yeah, less distortion. No distortion.
And vibration on the planet. When making Hubble lenses, I think there was a mistake done. It wasn't really that much of a mistake, terribly much. It's one of those unforeseen things. But the vibration on the Earth, perhaps, cars going by, altered the lens when they were
they had to do something about it, didn't they?
Yeah, I think this comes from vibration because there's too much vibration on the Earth. And that jittering alters, it's so subtle, you don't even notice it, right? But when you're buffing a lens in that particular way, it takes vibrations, cause it to alter. Because the whole thing is knocking about. And as that is a ratio of that, you can push down more, even though it's even nano spectrum. In the slightest nano spectrum of tremor will cause differentiations in lens making, especially when you try to make bigger lenses. So a space lens would be more purer than an Earth lens based on eliminating the vibration.
Yes, it would.
So again, that's already distorting our reality. So we make most telescopes, and then how much is that distorting the viewing glass from Earth? Already quite a lot. So that is also a distortion of your reality, which thinking, when doing a lot of thinking out the box, you have to take in so many fucking variables, it's unbelievable. And you have to store this knowledge. And it seems quite pointless at the time, but actually it's not, because it runs on to more things. So if that distorts our view, then what do those vibrations distort in our view? With a planet that's bopping and moving, and are we truly seeing it? And then if the planet is going too fast, imagine that, being on a planet and never going to space, and the Earth's whirling round faster than it is now, let's say. What are you going to see? Well, you can build a whole understanding, which we could call dogma version 2. That's why science has to be very, maybe, possibly, from this perspective. We see this, this, and this. It's a very delicate dance, which poses the question that it can be wrong, but it's accepted to be wrong. What's not accepted is it stays the same, though it is wrong and knows that it's wrong, but keeps it stationary. Then that becomes dogma. That becomes a new religion, in a way. Not saying that religions are, but when we hold things and we don't question it, and Jesus comes out, I'm sure he was one of many, and starts saying things, and then perhaps someone's not happy with that, and then someone else is not happy with someone else. That just is 1% of many people that were probably talking along these lines, was Jesus listening to all of those nuances that people were taking in, and became a catalogue of these things, but said it all, and therefore centre of attention. Other people were saying it, and they might have been met and untimely. They weren't known. You see, they were hidden. They were not known. When you're not known, that's when you become the most dangerous target. But all of the people that are targeting you also become targets, because you've got that's the fire ratio. It sparkles until you're down to one spark left, and then that's just the way it works. Ripples in a pond until it reaches equilibrium or calm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why there's that element of fame is often, sometimes it can be looked at as protection, and sometimes it can be looked at as target. You can be elevated to be targeted, but also you can be elevated to be protected.
Mm-hmm.
These are this is just the way it works, whether you choose to get into that dynamic or not, depending, again, who's holding the looking glass or the magnifying glass, and what distorted lens do they have. Is it going against an agenda? Is it going against this? Is it happening against that? Then to some, you're savior. To others, you're sinner.
Mm-hmm.
To some, you're angel. To others, you are demon. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? So therefore, they alter their filter based on that. And really, both sides are equally right.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have it both ways. You literally do have it both ways. So you get what I mean? So they say you can't have it both ways. You can. You most certainly can. Everything is all reciprocal, either way we look at it. It's, you walk a middle path. Anyway, so with black holes, from a black hole perspective, are we seeing the true picture of reality or the universe? That would be an interesting thing. I often ask that. The lens is interesting, very interesting indeed. Most atmospheres, what are the atmospheres doing exactly? Are they magnifying or are they minimizing?
Yeah.
Because certain lenses, being an atmosphere, being your eye, our eyesight is level to distortion. Just because we're born with an eye that we can see clearly with, what are we seeing clearly? And are we seeing it clearly? Everything clearly? Or is that the eye at a best guess ratio, tuned enough just for this? It's give it to you at a limit, but with your mind being unlimited, you can then go further than the eye can, and you can create things that help you go further than the eye, what the eye can see. And that is an interesting thing in itself. That's, again, you'll understand that that's a divine gift. You have been chosen. All humans have been chosen. And then it's not just humans, it's life forms of this certain niche. And again, it's a continuation cycle. Next time it can be something else. In this one, it can be a bit of this, bit of that, bit of this. It really doesn't matter. There's no time. Time is what we call a human. It's just a process that's running. It's not really time. Going from point A to point B. That's recycling. There's no beginning and no end. Because technically it's now in this ratio. It's a very interesting thing. It's fascinating. So, when you see it this particular way, because everything's happening like we believe it to be, I mean, let's say if you could map the whole universe.
Yeah.
Be in multiple places at once. You get to see an awful lot more. Well, who truly holds the key to that? That's being in every single place at once, meaning in you, outside of you, in reality constructs. So the sociology, you would say, it has an eye. Psychology has an eye. In the light, there's another way of viewing it. So how do you view life? You view it internally. You are viewing it and feeling it and experiencing it. But that's also an echo, a backward loop. That's also affecting your reality. Then the light coming in is also affecting it. Then your mind, limited. Eyes, limited. Didn't mean that you have to stay in those limits. It means that you make a choice whether you want to be unlimited. How do you become unlimited? And well, you got to explore, haven't you? Mm-hmm. You've got to knock the floodgates down.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you could be in the whole of the universe at once, everywhere, what do you know? You know quite a bit, yes?
Yeah.
That's a lot of knowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that knowing in itself, at that ratio, is limited.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean that you know everything? No, because that poses question mark. What's the question mark? Well, what happens if birds rose up everywhere? Well, depending on whether this has gone through a cycle where it was going to be a bird cycle, whether it was going to be I don't know, let's say a lion cycle.
Yeah.
Humanoid lions. Sounds funny, doesn't it? Sounds barbaric, sounds impossible, doesn't it?
Okay.
But again, I'm possible. And again, that then becomes limited to a cycle. Which ones go the furthest? Which ones have the unlocking mechanism in them that allows them to go further? Now, what happens if you put multiple variations of life in different areas? Well, this could lead to too much knowing, and who would know that? Well, the beings could take over and try and control the overall knowing, the structure of the universe. So you probably want to do that. You probably keep it more humanized, because then it creates limited. Limited for how long? For as long as the cycle runs and another cycle comes up. Then, if it's done with other life forms and they rise up in the structure, humans go around just being normal, autonomous humans in the time, right? Not being aware of anything, a bit like animals. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's a suppression, those gifts withdrawn. And then try it with these. And then that becomes another limited, but now we're getting unlimited until you've tried all of those variations. And again, each cycle, each one, you then start to turn a limitedness into a fuller knowing. But is it everything? Well, no, because it could go again, and then it depends on what type of variations. What did it learn through these processes? Is there any way that it can transform these processes in any way to create something that is a little bit more tempered? For what? For what purpose? Why? How? What is that? So we can collect a few and then do what with? That's a bigger question, yes? A bigger question. And then you begin to reach this knowing, and then at XYZ point, you are then able to predict what was once unpredictable. So again, knowing is limited to unpredictability, yes? So it's unpredictable in this biome of how it can go.
Yeah.
All of these life forms, different things like that. How does it respond? How does it develop? How does it evolve? What does it think? Well, it takes, we'll say in time, X amount for a cycle to run. So we would then say an hourglass, maybe. Grains of sand that drop through, and when the grains of sand are fully in, rotate the glass. Well, technically, you don't need to rotate the glass. It then knows when every drop is run. It starts running in retrospective, not in reverse, as you would say it. Wow. Interesting. Because when you look at the hourglass, you understand that it can be either way. Interesting. And then you just add in the different variations, and then what does that give you? Now, if it took XYZ amount of time to run in the sand, with that much time that took humanity that long to experience, or life forms, or universe, with that much time, we will call it time, for that process to run, before, big question mark, after, predictable. Run it again, without doing anything to it. You have from unpredictable to predictable, then you have calculation versus this. And what happens if you enhance it a little bit more? It goes back to unpredictability, it runs its course, and then it runs into knowing. We'll call this light, by the way. And then from that, put in some more variables, run the process. It's unknown, it's unknown. Now it's known. Each time you flip it, it goes from not knowing to knowing. Lack of understanding to understanding. Run it again. Ooh, it's happening the same way when you don't touch it. Add in some more variables. Well, what does that look like? Well, what about the teaching? We all act in a way and we never really know why we act that way. That's one thing from a human perspective. That is very understood. It's understood. Why do you do the things you do? Because we want to. Okay, so why do you want to? Why do leaders want to lead? Why do systems operate the way they do? Where did it all come from? Was it truly your idea? Or is it something else's idea, the sociology around you, that then triggered your psychology? Why do you do it? Do you even know why you do it? But it feels right, yeah? But what's that feeling then? What is that rightness? And then behavior. What is that behavior? Why does it go this way? Can it be twisted the other way? Well, how do you do that? You've got to see it. Is it possible to make you see it? Everything, everyone, everywhere. And then what is the outcome of that? Interesting. It's predictable this way, but is it predictable the other way? No. So what is learned here? What is it learned? Oh, we learn that everything is fucking deceptive. And without experimentation can be wrong. Obviously it can be wrong. But is there a greater mechanism at work? Why do stars orbit? What are they doing? Why do stars orbit the galaxy? Why do planets orbit a star? That's just the way it happens, or they're in an alignment. They can become stars. With this variation of planets forming, which are technically failed stars, doesn't mean that they stay failures forever. You see? Here's how not to build a star. Under the right circumstances, there is how to build a star. Interesting. Then we understand that. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. We'd have to see it though, because we've come into it in this. Animals came into it in this ratio. A bit that separates you from them is your ability to do something about that limitedness, and you know the limits. You know them. You know them, and then what do you try and do? Where does that come from for you to try and do more? More than your circumstances, because your circumstances are what in humanity? To live like animals, isn't it? That would have been the usual thing. Live like every other animal on the planet, yes?
Yeah.
So how come everybody isn't living like the animals then? Why do you feel the need to be different to the animals? Who planted that in you?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What planted that in you? I mean, the universal power, yes? The universal power, which is a level above, it's quite high. The divot understands itself very well, but in many different aspects. But wouldn't it take a star to know a star? Not always true, by the way. What would understand humans more? The divot? You wouldn't understand that. Or another human? Being a teacher. A divine human? You'd call God, yes? Would you listen to that more? Would you seek wisdom from an animal? But you would seek it from another human being, yes? Especially one that you would draw quite high up, being called God, yes?
That makes more sense, doesn't it? Than animal. Much more sense,
Humans listen to humans more. That's the way it's got to. Do they listen to anything higher? And then what's the difference between human and highness? usually a higher power wants you to do better, not worse. Wants you to make you more of what you are, not less. Now, what do you reckon the reward is to that? Do you think there is a reward to it? I mean, there is a rewarding process here, right? Well, beings that look after a planet, what happens? It looks after them.
Yeah.
For a limited time. It rewards you. Well, could you imagine looking after a star? It would also reward you too, wouldn't it? What happens if you were able to make a star, not a star, mirror image a star? To make everything you need. And also, don't make a black hole, but make the concept of a black hole. To be able to recycle. You don't have to make the black hole, but you need to understand what the black hole does. Again, this is a teacher. Interesting, really. Like I said, it doesn't always work as perfect as that. But would it take a god in the sky to tell you to look at these things? Obviously, because we understand religion to a point now, and some of it really good, some of it not great. It wants to put a middleman in there. That's, by and large, that's what it wants to do.
Yeah.
Are you going to listen to a star, or are you going to listen to me?
Yeah.
Shall we sit here and pray the star doesn't run out? It will.
And you can pray whatever you want.
Well, that would work if the star is listening to humans, but the star is listening to something else.
Yeah.
That is a type of obedience in itself. But its reward must be much more greater in order for it to listen. What could possibly level against it that it would want that is beyond anything that humans could give? Throw money into it, can make any element it wants, within reason. What could you offer it, possibly? You get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about a black hole? Could you offer it anything? You can give it a sacrifice. It's getting a sacrifice all the time.
You could, but why should it do anything?
It doesn't listen.
It eats it still anyway, yeah.
Interesting. Very interesting. So yeah, if we were a telescope around Jupiter, does it pull more in? Does it see more? Why do I ask that question? That's why I like twins. Yeah, and because I am one, I think. So if you have one around Earth that's looking at the Earth, that's wonderful. But what about one that's looking out into space? And then you put one identical that orbits around Jupiter. And then you take a still shot from one and the other.
Yeah.
Is there any differences in that? And then if you had one around a black hole or you had one around the star, is it going to give you more data?
Yeah.
Very interesting. You have to just ask these questions because it's that mass pulling things that we don't
Is it the
understand.
combination that you combine data from two places and see the difference?
Yeah, well, if you combine the data, yes,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Which makes a
Yeah.
picture digitized? Numbers, it's sending streams of numbers, isn't it? Which is data.
Yeah.
Is there a discrepancy in these? Does it enhance it or does it make it shiter? Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, I'm still interested in that. And magnifying glasses as well. They are fascinating. concentrated light. All very good. All very good. Yeah. Anyway, right, that should be maybe enough for this one. I'm going to move on to something else. So I think I've decluttered enough. Just those. I haven't decluttered anything really. As soon as I make room, there's more.
More clutter?
Huh?
More clutter and more information.
Not really, no. These are just some weird questions. The black hole, what's it doing? What is it pulling in? Is it a slow siphon? Is it slowly feeding?
Mm-hmm.
Is it slowly drawing in?
Mm-hmm.
Right, should we move on to another one? This one I've been looking forward to do for a while, and yeah, this next one I'm really looking forward to it. I've got to sort out a pen. The black one will be better.